There will now be an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. Please be seated. The Secretary will read the order.
Debate on vote number 17, Higher Education and Training Appropriation Bill.
I now invite the Honorable the Minister of Higher Education to introduce the budget vote.
The House Chairperson, members of the Portfolio Committee led by the Chairperson, the Deputy Ministers, Dr. Gondwe and Mr. Manamela, the honorable members present here today. On this day, 2003, during the commemoration and the launch of Mindset Network, which is a group established to improve education and health in South Africa, President Nelson Mandela remarked, "Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world." Indeed, it is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that a son of the mine worker can become the head of mine, that a child of a farm worker can become the president of the nation. As the executive authority of higher education and training, we derive our mandate from Section 29 of the Constitution, which states that everyone has a right to basic education, including adult basic education, and to further education, which the state, through reasonable measures, must make progressively available and accessible. Our mandate is to ensure that the department's vision of leading post-school education and training is more integrated, coordinated, and articulated for improved economic participation and social development. Our mission to provide national strategic leadership in support of the post-school education and training system for improved quality of life of South Africans is to ensure that it is indeed realized. As part of implementing this mandate, we oversee universities, TVET colleges, CETs, SETAs, quality councils, as well as private education providers. It remains our goal to expand access to higher education and training opportunities and improve the quality of provisioning, responsiveness, and efficiency of the post-school education and training systems. Improved skills development will maintain our national competitiveness in addressing societal challenges. Honorable members, it is in constructive spirit that we come before this August House today to table the Department of Higher Education and Training budget for the financial year 2024-2025. Our budget for the 2024-2025 financial year is 137.5 billion, with an annual average increase of 4.8% from 130.5 billion in the year 2023-2024 to 150.2 billion in 2026-2027. The breakdown then of the budget is as follows: administration 565 million, planning policy and strategy 4.2 billion, university education 91.7 billion, technical and vocational education and training 13.2 billion, skills development 333 million, community education and training 2.9 billion, with the skills levy sitting at 24.5 billion. Honorable members, it is with a heavy heart that I dedicate this 2024-2025 budget vote to the memory of our fallen heroes. Last week in the office, I was notified of the passing of May Selana Mula, who was a lecturer at Modile Tlale Satellite Learning Center in Paris under the Free State CT. Gender-based violence is a pandemic that as government we have committed to fight. We have managed to reprioritize within our budget at least 10.8 million to support the implementation of gender-based violence programs, health and wellness services in the community education and training colleges. Honorable members, Lenin once said a revolution is impossible without a revolutionary situation. Furthermore, not every revolutionary situation leads to revolution. So as this government, we ought to revolutionize higher education and training so that the PSET system could address the skills deficit in order to meet the needs of our economy. Our primary objective for the 7th administration is to develop skilled and capable workforce whilst broadening the skills base of the country to support an inclusive growth path. In this regard, it is important that we share our vision of the future and set priorities that will guide the direction of our national higher education and training portfolio. Obviously, our decisions are going to be guided by evidence-based research. With regard to NSFAS, we have listened attentively to the voices agitating for transformation. We are indeed committed to transformation. Regarding challenges of inefficiencies emanating from the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, we have also listened to the silent prayers of our parents for the Department of Higher Education and Training to resolve current student funding and payment challenges. We have also listened to the voices of landlords providing accommodation to students and to those providing transportation to students. We are inspired by these voices to acknowledge the common ground that we have regarding the hopes and aspirations of our students and learners. We are taking proactive steps to then alleviate these problems that we are facing in the NSFAS scheme. It is our moral responsibility to resolve these challenges and other matters in the shortest period of time, and all these problems will be addressed in the shortest period possible. Or those harmed by the continued fracture will turn on the system. We understand the magnitude of this responsibility as institutional inefficiencies have a direct impact on our commitment inscribed in the Freedom Charter, which states that the doors of learning and culture shall be open. The National Student Financial Aid has grown from disbursing 21.4 million in 1991 to almost 54 billion in the current financial year, supporting 800,000 students. The fund is catering for children of the working class and the poorest of the poor seeking to further their studies in public universities and TVET colleges. NSFAS represents government deliberate interventions to broaden access to those sections of our communities who had no access to post-school education and training. I wish to commit that the relative efficiencies of NSFAS in discharging its statutory responsibilities will remain the department's constant concern. We acknowledge our strengths and weaknesses in equal measure. It is not desirable that NSFAS is currently under a second administration intervention within 5 years of the conclusion of the previous intervention. However, despite all these systemic challenges, we are indeed turning around the tide. It is our commitment to root out corruption and maladministration and the NSFAS grant payment system. In this regard, we have committed funds to improve NSFAS ICT, inclusive of the loan system management. We acknowledge that some of the challenges have led to delays in the finalization and tabling in Parliament of the NSFAS annual reports. Earlier this year, we came up with comprehensive student funding model where we committed 3.8 billion initial capitalization fund to support missing middle students effective this financial year. This is the category of students who come from families with total income of more than 350,000, but not more than 600,000 per annum. The fund covers prospective students for both TVET as well as public university students. This initial commitment comprises of 1.5 billion from the National Skills Fund and 2.3 billion from sector education training authorities. At least 31,884 prospective learners stand to benefit from this investment. The National Skills Fund has further contributed 1 billion to the establishment of a presidential seed fund to support R&D and innovation for high-end skills involving doctoral as well as postdoctoral research. We are making strides in trying to turn around NSFAS. Since its inception, NSFAS has supported more than 5 million beneficiaries producing hundreds of thousands of skilled professionals and the middle class, especially from within the poor and working class sections of our society. Certainly, this is definitely one of the most achievements of this government over the past 30 years of our democracy. In April this year, my predecessor, Dr. Blaine Zimande, appointed an NSFAS administrator, and simultaneously, he dissolved the board. The administrator is present here today. As the administrator takes over the governance, management, and administration of NSFAS for the period of 12 months ending March 2025, his task also involves resolving the misalignment of data between NSFAS and institutions, resulting in unreliability data provided to finalize funding decisions and overseeing the opening of 2025 online application processes. We're working overtime to ensure that NSFAS systems are ready for the commencement of the 2025 application season, which is scheduled to start in September this year. This is critically important because in this financial year, NSFAS received approximately 2 million applications for a bursary. Out of this volume, 419,447 were returning students, while 297,809 were first-time entry students. Given these volumes, we are doing everything possible to ensure that NSFAS systems are ready. We're advancing as far as skills revolution is concerned. Artisans development remains our priority towards the 2030 target of producing 30,000 artisans per annum. In 2021-2022, the system produced 15,107 artisans, and in 2022-2023, 19,461 artisans. Of these 13,796, 70% of artisans were young people below the age of 35. Our target for 2024-2025 is to produce 26,500 artisans. For the workplace-based learning programs in 2020-2021, the system placed 78,137 learners, a decrease from 651 in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And by 2022-2023, 99,778 learners were placed. The target for 2024-2025 is to produce 190,000 work-based learning programs. A further 300 million has been earmarked to support 4,200 beneficiaries in the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative. In conclusion, House Chairperson and honorable members, we reaffirm our commitment of ensuring that we provide strategic solutions in order to create equitable, effective, and sustainable post-school education and training system. Moreover, I would like to thank the members of the Portfolio Committee for their support and engagement so far. I'm looking forward to work with you in turning around the post-school education and training sector. Gratitude also goes to the Director General, Dr. Sishi, its executive management and staff of the department, the boards and executives of the entity, and all who contributed towards the achievement of the mandate of the department. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, before I call the next speaker, I want to remind the other speakers in this debate that there's a chair to the right and to the left, so that if it's your turn next, you can just move towards the chair so that it's easier to get to the podium. The next speaker is the Honorable Letsi.
Thank you very much, House Chair, Minister, and Deputy Ministers, Members of Parliament. The higher education and training sector plays a significant role in fostering economic growth by nurturing a skilled workforce representing diverse professions and disciplines. We wholeheartedly endorse this budget, acknowledging the sector's fundamental importance. The department efforts to expand access and success in higher education institutions has been pivotal in enhancing educational opportunities and improving the efficiency of skills development system. The advancement of expanded educational access is being propelled by infrastructure development at construction, renovation, and upkeep of facilities within universities and TVET colleges. Government has completed the feasibility studies for the establishment of a university in the Ekurhuleni Metro and another in Hammanskraal. The final feasibility studies are anticipated to be finalized later this year, following which construction will commence. The completion of 10 TVET college campuses, namely Tabazimbi, Umzimkhulu, Graaff-Reinet, Nongoma, Msinga, Aliwal North, KwaGqigazi, Ngqungqushe, Nkandla, and Bambanana. This is a commendable achievement for which we express our gratitude. We express significant concern regarding the reduction in infrastructure grants over the medium-term expenditure framework period. It is imperative that despite this reduction, the department ensures that educational institutions possesses the necessary infrastructure to accommodate students accessing higher education. Additionally, the increase in funding must prioritize infrastructure repairs and maintenance in critical areas such as bulk services, sanitation, teaching and learning facilities, and student accommodation. It is crucial that despite this reduction, the department ensures that educational institution possesses the essential infrastructure to accommodate students accessing higher education. We, however, want to put it on record that these reductions will not affect the bursary schemes, as those have been spent without major problems. We would like to implore upon the department to increase the capacity within our universities and TVET colleges for them to be able to spend effectively and efficiently the infrastructure grants so that we can avoid budget cuts in the future. Over the medium term, 1.5 million university students and 1 million TVET students from poor and working class background at all 76 public higher education institutions are expected to be awarded bursaries through NSFAS. We want to ask NSFAS to triple their efforts in finalizing funding decisions, appeals, and allowance distribution on time. I want to pause here and also say that NSFAS minister will come before the committee very soon to present their long overdue annual reports. Unpause. We acknowledge the pivotal role played by our SETAs in the implementation of skills development to foster inclusive growth. It is imperative that we provide support to the department in monitoring the implementation of this skills development in the current administration. By March next year, the department aims to produce and certify 26,500 artisans, thereby contributing to the National Development Plan goal of producing 30,000 artisans annually by 2030, specifically those who are products of TVET colleges. Furthermore, there is a strategic focus on prioritizing 190,000 workplace-based learning programs encompassing learnership, internship, and work-integrated learning. We strive to see a skilled and capable workforce. Therefore, we welcome the forecasted plans of ensuring by March next year, we target 53,000 learners to complete learnerships, 11,000 learners to complete internship, and 128,000 learners completing skills program. The focus for over the medium term for SETAs will focus on strengthening and delivering the relevant priority skills for South Africa's labor market. The ANC fully endorses this budget to ensure that optimal functioning of the education sector. We place before the House Chairperson to adopt this budget by all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The next speaker is the Honourable Van der Walt.
Chairperson, Minister Kabani, Deputy Ministers Gondwe and Manamela, and colleagues. I dedicate my speech today to the millions of students in our country who has and will put all their hope for further education on the 50 universities, 26 TVET colleges, and the 9 CETs in our country. The committee report refers to key policy focus areas relevant to the department, which includes the National Development Plan as adopted by Cabinet in 2012. Chapter 9 is specific on improving education, training and innovation and highlight as key points, and I quote, "The South African education system needs urgent action. Building national capabilities requires quality early childhood development, basic education, further and higher education. Further education and training colleges, public adult learning centers, sector education and training authorities, professional colleges, and community education and training centers are important elements of the post-school system that provide diverse learning opportunities. Further education should expand moderately, and as quality improves or expands rapidly, higher education should incorporate a range of different institutions that work together to serve different priorities, including effective regulatory and advisory institutions." Close quote. The 24-25 medium-term expenditure framework budget totals 137.5 billion rand, of which 81.14% or 91.7 billion rand has been allocated to university education, 13.2 billion rand to TVETs, and a mere 333.1 million to the Skills Development Program. NSFAS allocation amounts to 46.6 billion, of which 332.7 million is allocated to NSFAS's administration, almost the same amount as the Skills Development Program allocation. It is very troubling that NSFAS, one of the most important entities of the higher education sector, has been plagued by one scandal of the other, which included late payment of allowances to students, leaving many without food and destitute, and putting the completion of their studies at jeopardy. Alleged corruption and fraud with both the direct payment system and the student accommodation online portal service providers and student accommodation accrediting agents tenders. Using SARS data to allegedly discriminate against students, thereby allegedly breaching the Memorandum of Understanding between NSFAS and SARS, as well as the Protection of Personal Information Act. And NSFAS is not the only entity rocked by scandal. Let's not forget the revelations of corruption, lack of good governance, unfilled vacant posts, and poor financial systems and project management processes at the 10 NSF projects investigated by Nexus to the tune of 5 billion rand, almost the entire amount of this year's NSF allocation. In all of this, it is the students and the quality of education who suffer. They spend a lot of time and money to study at these institutions in good faith, only for many to find out at the end that their qualifications do not meet the industry's minimum standards, leaving them to form part of the 59.7% of unemployed youth between the ages of 15 to 24 years. The financial shortfall for student funding has dire consequences, as it is students who bear the brunt of this funding, of this situation. In order to ensure long-term sustainability of the funding system, fundamental change is needed to the funding model. The DA's funding model, which includes the implementation of a tiered system for loans and grants, with a primary focus on providing substantial financial support to students from low-income households, will tackle this challenge head-on. Initiating a comprehensive reform of the current funding model will inject additional resources into the system, thereby enabling NSFAS to deliver on their mandate to more potential students. All students need to be able to trust that they will have the relevant skills and knowledge to enter their chosen career path after graduation. With nearly 5 billion rand budgeted for the NSF and more than 46 billion for NSFAS, we need to ensure that the department is held accountable for every cent. Every fruitless and wasteful rand could have benefited another student. and we owe it to our youth to be trustworthy and effective stewards of their futures. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The next speaker is the Honorable Susanna.
Slad, can I first address something before I come to the floor?
Yes, Honorable Member.
Yes. My surname is spelled wrong, and as a black person, as a Zulu, this thing will have my ancestors abandon me. So I cannot be addressed as Msezana when I'm Msezane, and all my documents are with the Parliament or all the relevant departments. So perhaps I should first introduce myself so that you don't eat my time when I get there, so that
No.
I clarify this matter.
No, thank you for clarifying it, Honorable Member.
Is that fine?
I'll ask the responsible staff to correct it.
Okay.
And if there's any other member who see that their names or surnames are incorrectly spelled, they must bring it to our attention so that
Yeah.
it can be corrected.
No, thanks,
Honorable
Lalo.
Mfezane.
On that note, let me introduce myself, then I come to the floor. Indeed,
No, you must come to the podium now, Honorable Member.
before you, but don't count my time, eh?
No, come to the podium, Honorable Member. Please proceed.
I must correct this, Slad. Oh, it's here. Can I first correct this?
We'll take it into account, Honorable Member. Please continue.
No, thanks, Slad. Kuyiqiniso ukuthi igama lami ngumnqobo kaMsezane. Ngisuke endaweni encane ebizwa kuthiwa kusengoja emakhaya. Ngafunda esikoleni ekubizwa ukuthi isikole sabantu. Ngaya nasenyuvesi futhi ekubizwa kuthiwa inyuvesi yabantu okuthiwa yi-public university. Ngithi angikusho kwelokhu kwi-department ukuze understand ukuthi masikhuluma ngama-issues ama-students asiwabuki ku-TV minister, and we asinceli ithuba esesikhuluma ngawo, but it's issues that we've dealt with, we understand them, we've lived by them, so we understand these issues that we're going to be talking about here. Bathe mabesithuma abantu bakithi-ke siwumkhonto wesizwe ukuyibona abantu kumele sibabonge kuqala before ngiqala ukukhuluma ukuthi besethemba ukuthi sobamela la eParliament. But asibeke kucaca ukuthi bafuna i-free education, imfundo yamahhala, as declared by President Zuma in 2017 with a clear timeline that it should have been implemented in 2018. So I want to first clarify that point before I get into what I need to say to the department. To deal with the matter of NSFAS, the minister touches the matters of NSFAS and states that they are noting them and they are of concern to them. Let me speak in detail about NSFAS. NSFAS has failed to provide 2 financial reports for 2 consecutive terms, which means that for about approximately 100 billion remains unaccounted for when it comes to NSFAS. Now, the department again speaks about 54 billion that must again be injected to this very same NSFAS that is run as a spaza shop, and till to date, there is no accountability when it comes to the department. That is one. Secondly, NSFAS in 2020, again in 2024, has been in an administration which tells you that NSFAS is malfunctioning. They're not under administration because they're excelling in what they're doing. But
Honorable Member.
Honorable Member, take a question.
No, Honorable Member, just take your seat, please. Honorable Member.
Is the Honorable Member prepared to take a question?
Yes, I think the Honorable Member at the podium is also the first time that he's delivering a speech. And also practice and convention is that during a maiden speech, we do not do that. Please proceed, Honorable Member.
by the way, Slalo, I did not mind taking a question, but the time is not allowing. Thank you. As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted. Now, the very same administration has come back in the form of now the GNU to again continue where they ended off with the malfunctioning of NSFAS. Okay. To deal with the matter of Slalo, can you kindly protect me so that I can proceed, please?
Honorable Member.
Please, Slalo.
Honorable members, the member is delivering his maiden speech. Please give him an opportunity so that he can complete his speech. Please proceed, honorable member.
No, thank you, Slal. Now, the budget does not deal with the matter of post-grad funding. It also does not deal with the matter of historical debt. Furthermore, the report of the department speaks about the Imbali Precinct ICT infrastructure project with the timeline of 2025 March deadline. It is a crucial initiative in enhancing digital learning. However, the little transparency regarding its progress is questionable. Is it still on track for the deadline? A thorough evaluation is essential to ensure that we are on course and identify the obstacles that might derail the project. Delays or mismanagement will not only waste resources, but also hinder the educational advancement of our students. We call for a regular, transparent updates on the progress of the project to ensure accountability and completion. We therefore further propose that a monitoring committee established to this effect. The decision to establish Ulundi Satellite and Zone University of Technology Guyana campuses must be applauded, but also scrutinized. What criteria was used to select these locations? While we support the expanding of access to higher education, it is vital that these decisions are based on sound research and clear understanding of our regional needs. Transparency in the process will build public trust and ensure that the resources are allocated where they are most needed. To deal with the matter of student housing project, the department first needs to evaluate the status of the current accommodation using a ratio of current students in need of accommodation versus the number of beds availed to the institutions by the Institute of Higher Learning. The department's 3 facilities with 5,000 beds each. We need a comprehensive update on this initiative. Which provinces and institutes have been selected, and what is the rollout plan for the additional 5,000 facilities each for 2026-2027? As the MK party, we want an extensive report on the status of the accommodation when it comes to the TVET sector, because what we've observed is that on the ground there is accommodation, but not adequately in the TVET sector. So we need a thorough evaluation on this effect, on this topic. Okay, we demand for an immediate transparent report on the future status of the plans for the student accommodation project to ensure timely and adequate housing for all our students. In addressing the other issue of unemployed graduates, institutions of higher learning unlawfully withhold certificates of graduates due to outstanding fees. We call for an immediate intervention from the department to address this matter. It is also a major contributor to the unemployment of graduates, with the current unemployment rate of 35% as things stands. What concrete plans does the department have to tackle this matter? Strengthening relations with the corporate sector is crucial. Government and business must collaborate to create job opportunities and leverage graduates to improve service delivery. We propose a department that start looking into a dual strategy where graduates are employed into the public roles, simultaneously gaining experience and addressing community needs. When it comes to the performance indicator, the workplace placement of TVET graduates stands at a dismal 5%. Now, this is unacceptable. What measures will the department implement to improve the figure? We need a radical, effective partnership with industries to create partnerships and internships opportunities. The department must also ensure that the programs that are aligned with the market demands, equipping students with the skills and in the skills that are on high demand. And finally, to address the matter of national skills plan, this plan must align with the industrial goals. How will the department facilitate the growth of the economy? By developing skills that enable the transformation of raw materials into finished products. The strategy should not only focus on the local markets, but also position South Africa as a competitive and international trade, making a significant contribution to the economy and the growth of our country. Comprehensive skills development is key to the economic growth and job creation. In conclusion, as the MK party, we reject the current budget as it stands until all the matters that we've raised above are addressed. Thank you very much. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you, honorable member. The next speaker is the Honorable Sikwambana. Honorable Shikwambana, just take your seat, please. You can sit down. Why do you want to be recognized, honorable member?
Thank you very much, Chair. I did not want to interrupt the previous speaker because it was the maiden speech. But we do have a member of MK wearing a party logo inside the house, and we attended the induction where we're told that party logos are not allowed. Please just assist us on that one. Thanks.
Yes, honorable members. Indeed, there is the practice that party logos are not allowed. Attire with party logos on are not allowed. Please, order, honorable members. Honorable Shikwambana, please continue.
Thank you very much, House Chairperson. Chairperson, allow me to take this time and extend my special greetings to the Commander-in-Chief and the President of the EFF, commissars and all dedicated members of the Economic Freedom Fighters and members of the Progressive Caucus. Minister, let me take this opportunity and welcome you into this ministry, which has been thoroughly mismanaged by your previous minister or your predecessor. Again, also this department, which has been taken into granted by the person referred to as Minister or former Minister Blade Zimande. Minister, the previous or your predecessor, Blade Zimande, left this department with many issues. One of the issues is that Blade Zimande left this department with a dysfunctional NSFAS, characterized by non-payments of the students' allowances, lack of students' accommodation, ballooning of students' debt enrolled, and corruption within NSFAS. The department has approximately 4,633 vacancies, including that of the CFO. And it is exactly this kind of dysfunction that allowed the previous minister, as he pleased, with the department and its finances. As of recent last month, it was reported that more than 130 million from the National Skills Fund, which was budgeted for training for youth-owned small, medium, and micro enterprises, not finding its way to the beneficiaries. When asked, the CEO of the fund simply replied that he was not aware. And as the National Skills fund has been subjected to pillage and corruption by those allies close to the previous minister, Blade Zimande, for so long, and no one has been held accountable so far. For the last 5 years, former minister Blade Zimande, he and his executive could not account for 5 billion that was lost by the National Skills Fund. Our institutions of higher learning are bears perennial problems to surface each and every year or the beginning of the academic year. We have students traveling from near, far, from the hinterland of South Africa and beyond our borders, from the townships and towns of our motherland. Students live in their different homes only to arrive at the institutions of higher learning and be provided with no accommodation, and to be forced to sleep in the halls and also in inhabitable places and get to be exposed to many social injustices. These are the challenges that need to be addressed, Minister. And the EFF will support you and your efforts, Minister, for as long as these are geared towards the higher education accessible to the vast majority of our people. The following, Minister, like you quoted Lenin, that I'm giving you the progressive situation now that we have actually quoted as you speak. Here is the progressive situation. The following are progressive interventions that will guarantee you the support of the EFF as the new minister in this department. Introduce free, quality, well-resourced, decolonized education. appoint new board members of NSFAS as a matter of urgency, cancel all student debts and register all students who were excluded on the basis of fees. Also, give certificates, diplomas, degrees to all students who passed and were denied their qualifications because of the outstanding debts. Allow free registration for all students in the institutions of higher learning. Allow late applications for all students in the institutions of higher learning. Introduce free driving school lessons for all students in the institutions of higher learning. That is the progressive situation that you just quoted as you spoke, Minister. House Chairperson, in the short, medium term, there is a great need to streamline NSFAS processes to ensure that their approval of applications is in line with the institutions of higher learning. As this stand, NSFAS takes time to approve applications of students, and this puts students at risk and also force students to be kicked out of the system by the institution. Even when NSFAS has made their decisions, students want to apply, and after applying, they go for appeals. The appeal process takes forever, and as a result, returning students find themselves dropping out of the institutions of higher learning. This very budget vote we are expected to endorse here today includes a budget reduction of amounting to 16.1 billion to NSFAS budgeted over this medium term expenditure frame period. This will see 87,712 university students not being funded in this current year, and also increasing to 120,976 students in the academic year 2025, which is next year. This budget, Minister, or this budget cuts, Minister, will impact negatively on the access to education. The EFF want to register its disappointment on the manner in which budget votes are conducted this year. The rushing of these votes is potentially unconstitutional because the process does not allow thorough engagement with proposed budgets that are given
Honourable
here.
Member,
With that being
your
said,
time is
the
now
EFF
expired.
reject this budget. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next speaker is the Honourable Zondo.
House Chair,
Yes, Honourable Member.
thank you very much. I did not want to disturb the President when he was giving the line of march. House Chair, something fundamentally wrong is happening in your house. The EFF is not part of the GNU. Now, you've put a label there that puts EFF as if it's part of the GNU. It's very wrong. It must be removed because we don't agree to collaborate with the people who came to steal our land.
Thank you,
Here,
Honourable
who still
Member.
remain today with our land.
Thank you.
The name of the EFF must be removed from that side. We are here, we are going to hold the executive accountable, and that is our position.
Honourable Zondo, just take a seat, please. Honourable members, may I request the chamber staff to pay attention to the details. The honourable member is correct. There's a specific seating arrangement, and let's not implement our own way of how we're doing things. There is an agreement that is currently being discussed, and let's observe that, please. Let's just stick to what we have agreed upon. Honourable Zondo, you may proceed. Order, honourable members, order. Order, honourable members. It seems to me there's more members now want to swap seats. Let's now give the honourable member the podium opportunity. Please proceed, Honourable Zondo.
Thanks, Chairperson. Greetings to Honourable Minister, Deputy Ministers, Honourable Chairperson. Congratulations, comrades. This department has failed dismally in delivering its mandate. For many years, as IFP been calling for change in implementation implemented in the leadership of this department. With the previous minister, since she took office as a Minister of Higher Education and Training, the department faced many challenges, of which on his watch, including hiking institution fees, continued issues with NSFAS, issues with accommodations of students, and the disturbance in experience on the campuses at the various institutions. We cannot continue to watch as the department fail to properly guide NSFAS or develop strategies to resolve student issues, particular issues of lack of student accommodation in the previous strategy, universities and colleges. This issue disproportionate impact poor student in a way that they are unimaginable. Minister, it is high time that this budget allocation of this department mirror the needs of students and directly toward addressing the issues head on with no fear of contradiction. We cannot stress enough how important it is for the future that this department land on its feet. The private administration tenders many issues as in many excuse as in why the department has been failing to perform with efficiency. And we hope that this back end here, no excuses but delivery. We applaud the recommendation to remove all the middlemen in terms of student allowances as it was happening in the previous term. In addition, we want to recommend that in TVET, we improve the curriculum to market-related curriculum in the PSET and ensure that both universities and TVET colleges produce work-ready graduates. In skill development, develop an learning program for postgraduate research to address the urgent need of society. Ensure that private-public partnership is fostered. University education formalize hard work to allow its commercialization, develop strategies to protect and support student entrepreneurship in student communities, create a support strategy to student transition from rural and semi-developed areas, schools, and to open university and TVET colleges. Chairperson, we implore the new minister to turn around the situation at this department, as the future of young people of South Africa is in her hands. The IFP will always work with you. I think, Minister, we are not shy that you are part of GNU as we come to this house to represent the people that have voted for us. We've contested election to govern. In order to govern, I understand that.
Point of order, Chairperson. Point of order, Chairperson.
Yes, honorable member.
Thank you very much,
Zondo, please
Chairperson.
take your seat, please. Yes, honorable member, what is the point
Is
of
the
order?
honorable member able to take a question?
Honorable member, are you prepared to take a question?
No, we'll address some question and
Oh,
answer my portfolios. Not
Honorable
here.
member is not
You
prepared to take a
hijacked
question.
the-
Thank you.
You hijacked
Thank
the-
you,
the
honorable member.
governing. We are-
Honorable member, you were not asked to make a comment and speech now. He's not prepared to take a question, so we'll proceed. Honorable Zondo.
Thank you, Chair. As I was saying that we are here to represent people who voted for us. We'll make sure that our policies and our manifesto is featured in terms of principles to run this country. So we're here to participate in government. We will work with the new minister, we'll work with deputy ministers. We are looking forward to turn around the situation in this department. We know that uma intombi kwehlule uhlezi njalo ukhala uma ubona isoka liphethe kahle. So angeke siphatheke kabi ngabantu abazishimane ngoba ukushimane into ozalwa nayo ngeke senze lutho. We will end up asking questions where there is no need for questions. We'll attend our portfolio committee meetings where we'll address some issues that need to be addressed. We cannot, as members of this portfolio, come here and object this vote, because what are we going to do tomorrow if we have no budget to work? We're going to adopt this vote to make sure that we are going to the people and implement what people send us here to do. IFP support this bill. We'll deal with those who don't want to see South Africa being better.
Thank you, honorable member. The next speaker is the Honorable Kujane, who will deliver a maiden speech. Yes, honorable member.
Chair, thank you very much. I just want to ask you, Chair, that next time do not allow people who are unprepared to come and waste our time focusing on other people's speeches there. They must
Honourable
speak
Member.
what they've prepared themselves there.
Honorable member, that was the speech of the honorable member. I can't dictate to him what to say. Now, honorable members, we want to get on with the debate. We're not going to discuss the speeches that has been made by other members. You can discuss that outside at your leisure. Yes, honorable member?
No, I just wanted to remind Chair on Rule 68 that says that we must stick to the topic. So please help the House and the speakers to remain focused on the topic at hand.
Yes.
That
so-
Rule 68, Chair, is
Thank-
within your rules.
Thank you, honorable member. I use my discretion when listening to these political inputs that has been made by members. And some of them focus on the topic at hand, others, well, they drift to other issues. Right, but the gist of the comments that members make deals with the budget vote. Please proceed, Honorable Kojana. It's a maiden speech.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, Speaker, Minister, Deputy Minister. Thank you for affording me the opportunity to speak to the constituencies of the Patriotic Alliance and the country as a whole. I would like to emphasize 3 points. The first is the contentious issue of NSFAS. NSFAS needs to be more user-friendly and easy to not only access but understand. There needs to be more in-person consultations where parents and students can speak to somebody and not a computer. This also directly speaks to job creation. It has to be inclusive of all languages and not just done in English. Some of the systems are very flawed at NSFAS, and students will receive funding for 1 year and not the following year. That's not how it's supposed to be. It is illogical and it is unfair. There needs to be more streamlined ways of looking at these systems. There is also no proper estimation as to how fees are being allocated. For example, if you give transport allowances to students, nobody has actually worked out that if a student had to take 4 taxis per day for 30 days, it would not equate to 1,500 Rand, leaving the student destitute. I would also like to say that there is an overemphasis on universities. Most of the budget goes to universities. We need a more transformative system where we need to include more practicality than theoretical way of learning so that we can ensure that graduates are actually employable. There needs to be a culture created where we do not frown upon TVET colleges and put universities on pedestals because TVET colleges are as important. Universities and colleges must have more focus on prospective students who need to enroll in courses where there is a skills shortage. If we have a skills shortage in STEM subjects, why are we not focusing on STEM subjects? Why do we not put more funding in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics? I would also like to say that there are many students who are not only hungry for education, but they are also hungry in a literal sense. We need to make sure that the programs and the facilities that need to feed these students are running at an optimal base. Because if students do not have an environment that is conducive to studying, they will not be successful. Most importantly, I would like to touch on the issue of safety. I would please ask that the minister implore and make sure that we join hands with SAPS and neighborhood watches and other security for the safety of our students. We cannot have students fearing for their lives when they leave the institutions. We cannot take students' money and not protect them when they exit the gate of university or TVET colleges. GBV is a major issue. We cannot be part of the problem, we need to be part of the solution. I would like to just also say, I am a recipient of CETA. So I have worked my way through these systems and I became a lecturer, but it was not easy. So what about the students who cannot understand that there are institutions who can fund them? That means they would never be funded and reach the level that I have reached. Hence, I'm saying systems need to be user-friendly and there needs to be information systems in rural areas in the languages that students and parents understand. If we are to have academic advisors in institutions, they should not just advise on the basis that we want a throughput rate for students to get through university. And then they sit at home with degrees that don't mean anything. Our students do not have time left anymore, neither do their parents. Their grandparents have sweat for them to be there. We cannot anymore wait for somebody to come home with a degree and not make a meaningful contribution back at home where the grandmother is waiting for some kind of result. We would approve the budget if these things can be looked at more vigorously, and especially the safety issue, knowing the situation in South
Honourable
Africa.
Member, your time
Thank
is
you
now
very much.
expired. Thank you. The next speaker is the Honourable Boshoff.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Minister and Deputy Ministers. I think if we look at this portfolio of higher education, we actually have three departments, one could say. We have NSFAS, which is a financing institution. One could actually also say NSFAS is like SASSA for students. Then we have the CETAs, which are financed from 1% of the national wage account. That 1% skills development levy, which we all see on our pay slips every month, goes to fund the CETAs and also the skills development levy. There are questions about that. And then we have the control over the universities, the TVETs, and also the community education and training colleges, which are supposed to bring skills and relevant training to people who are adult already and who had not had the opportunity to study in the younger days. Nou oor elkeen van hierdie is daar vrae. Mens vra jouself af, op watter stadium gaan NSFAS se professionaliteit pas by sy meer as 60 miljard rand begroting? NSFAS is 'n instansie die grootte van heeltemal 'n bank om jou rekening te hou. Groter as African Bank, waarskynlik omtrent dubbel die grootte van African Bank. Wanneer gaan die stelsels, die IT-stelsels, die bestuurstelsels, die betalingsstelsels pas by 'n instelling van hierdie grootte? Ons weet dat NSFAS oornag omskep is van 'n kleinerige leningsskema na 'n reusagtige beursskema. En die persoon wat ons daarvoor kan dankie sê, is nie hier nie, maar baie van sy mense is. NSFAS kon op geen stadium nog daai oorgang gemaak kry nie. 'n Mens vra jouself af, wat het geword van Dr. Randall Carolussen en hoekom het hy van die beste ding sedert Droomhuis op 'n Sondagmiddag verander in die grootste skelm wat die land ooit gesien het, toe hy die aankoop van skootrekenaars bevraagteken het en die prosesse wat gevolg is of nie gevolg is nie, was hy dalk reg? Dan vra mens jouself, wanneer gaan die funksionele oorvleeling tussen die CETAs oorbrug word? Wanneer gaan hierdie wat lyk asof dit 'n hele staatsdiens is wat tot stand gekom het ter wille daarvan om 'n klomp mense werk te gee en nie ter wille daarvan om in die eerste plek iets gedoen te kry nie, verander na 'n vaartbelynde funksionele instansie om vaardigheidsoordrag na jong mense te bewerkstellig. En dan kan 'n mens jouself afvra wat universiteite betref, wanneer gaan die staat besef dat minderheidsgroepe ook nie net die behoefte het nie, maar die reg om hulle kulturele uitdrukking in onderwys te gee, selfs in hoër onderwys, en wanneer gaan dit ophou om vir die staat belangriker te word om Afrikaans as 'n metode van uitsluiting te sien, liewerster as 'n geleentheid om die verskeidenheid van Suid-Afrika te vier. Met ander woorde, wanneer gaan transformasie ophou om die doelwit is te wees wat nagestreef word ten koste van alles, selfs ten koste van gehalte. Ek dank u.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The next speaker is the Honourable Dr. Letlape.
To the presiding chair, the minister, the deputy minister, the DG, the chair of the portfolio committee. One of the challenges we have in our education system is fitness for purpose on the other side. I come from the health sector, and I've seen through my lifetime that there's a values crisis in terms of what we produce today, fit to serve the community. we no longer put our patients first. And it's part of what the training platform has become. So what I would urge, Minister, is greater cooperation with respect to the production of the health workforce between your ministry and the Ministry of Health. We need to ensure that we have national human resource plans that inform who we train, aligned with the needs of the country and creating employment opportunities. We can't spend as much money as we spend on producing healthcare professionals and they are unemployable. It becomes a crisis that requires cooperation. I hope that when I was in the HPCSA, we complained about the training platform becoming a basis for human rights violations. It becomes a place for sexual and racial abuse. It is a sector that is scary for our young people. Sex for Max, GBV are embedded in our higher education systems. Can we ensure that we make those places safe for young people so they become better citizens? We need to ensure that we stop duplication. Where I come from, there'll be challenges of training institutions being accredited. There are now demands from higher education and demands from healthcare for something that is resource intensive. There needs to be coordination between the two ministries so that there is no duplication. We can save resources and ensure that there's greater cooperation so that even the regulators should know where they belong. Is it CHE that's your boss? Is it the Ministry of Health that's your boss when you are a health professions council? Where is the level of cooperation? So that there should be no administrative burden, because those processes are intensive and expensive. Can we utilize the resource that lies in our institutions? So when we administer NSFAS, can there be greater involvement of the institutions so that there can be direct transfers to the institutions, saving money, so that we can have directives where we say to the institutions, when you hold our funds, the interest accrues back to us. You are not going to work as a bank and use our money. You are there for better administration to help students manage their funds so that they don't get a lump sum, get designer clothes, and drink designer wine. Cheap wine is sufficient for university students. And NSFAS should not turn our children into people that have money that they don't have, and they cannot achieve what they need to achieve. We support the budget because without a budget, we cannot work. But it cannot be business as usual. And we ask for greater cooperation and utilizing the structures that exist instead of
Honorable
creating new
Tlhapa,
structures so
your
that we
time has
line
expired.
our pockets. I thank you.
I invite the Deputy Minister, Dr. Gondwe.
House Chairperson, as I present my maiden budget vote speech, it gives me immense pleasure and honor to join the Minister of Higher Education and Training, Dr. Nkabane, Deputy Minister Manamela in presenting the Department of Higher Education's training budget vote, the Department of Higher Education and Training's budget vote in the 7th administration. House Chairperson, the success or failure of the higher education sector is dependent in no uncertain terms on the effectiveness of the administrative interface provided by the department. For this reason, it is imperative that the department pursues a two-pronged approach which prioritizes improvement in its internal performance targets on one hand, and the governance of entities reporting to it on the other hand. As the 7th administration begins its work to chart a new governance path for South Africa, I'm encouraged, House Chairperson, by the common realization and understanding between myself, Minister Nkabane, and Deputy Minister Manamela that a lot more can be done to deliver on the department's mandate as derived from Section 29 of the Constitution. House Chairperson, the stark and candid reality is that if the department does not improve the performance of its own administrative interface, it will struggle to resolve the governance and administrative deficiencies at entities such as NSFAS and at some of our seaters. The most immediate metric by which this administration will be judged on by students in the sector, House Chairperson, is how speedily and effectively we resolve the governance and administrative issues at NSFAS. As such, standing here, I want to assure students right across the length and the breadth of this country that NSFAS is one of the priority areas that we'll be focusing on to resolve issues relating to, amongst others, the late or non-payment of student allowances and the inconsistent disbursement of fees to institutions of higher learning. It is not a coincidence, House Chairperson, that NSFAS is currently under administration, having first suffered the same fate between 2018 and 2020. Given the seemingly intractable problems at the entity and the impact that this is having on the smooth operation of the post-education sector in South Africa, perhaps the time has come, House Chairperson, for us to consider decentralizing the current student finance administration and disbursing funds directly to those institutions of learning with the administrative capacity to manage and administer this funding. Another area of primary concern, House Chairperson, relates to the recurring operational challenges impacting the work of our seaters, which are often made worse by misplaced priorities and maladministration. The AG, House Chairperson, continues to flag irregularities in the audit outcomes of some of the seaters, with irregular expenditure being a common feature or denominator. We will need to resolve this urgently if our seaters are really going to start making a felt and marked impact on delivering on their mandate for skills and human capacity development. We would be failing in our oversight responsibility, House Chairperson, as a department if we do not intervene and put an end to irregular and wasteful expenditure and require that all of our 21 seaters strictly focus on their mandate of helping to combat unemployment by developing and rolling out programs aimed at narrowing the skills gap in the economy. Honorable members, the internal challenges facing the departments also require some honest introspection if we are to truly begin the process of charting a new governance culture. In the coming days, weeks, and months, we will be working together to address the well-documented governance issues within the department, which include, amongst other things, the department currently has 24 employees on suspension with full pay. While 6 cases have been finalized, this has cumulatively cost the taxpayer close to 7 million rand per annum. The department's underspending across 5 core priority programs saw it surrender back to Treasury 500 million in the last 2 financial years. House Chairperson, this ministerial leadership team is alive to the fact that it cannot be business as usual for as long as the department's administrative interface remains mired in persistent corporate governance challenges. House Chairperson, CET colleges were established in 2015 to assist young people who are currently out of school to acquire skills and enhance their basic qualification. The NDP target for enrollments at these colleges is 1 million students by 2030. In 2022, the enrollment stood at a little over 128,000. This is against over 17.1 million people between the ages of 16 and 60 who are within the need bracket in 2022. As a consequence, House Chairperson, the department will need to find innovative and novel ways to massify enrollments at CET colleges, because if it does not, then I'm afraid we might not be able to reach the target set by the NDP in 2013, which I might add is only 5.5 years away. Honorable House Chairperson and members, the challenges in the higher education sector are many. I'll not lie to you, but I can assure you that this ministerial leadership team is equal to the task, and we've already started engaging the relevant stakeholders in an effort to finding lasting and impactful solutions to the challenges besetting the sector. I thank you.
I invite the Honorable Ghana.
Nkensile mtshamaxitulu a ni hleketa ku ri u ta vita lava n'wanyana. So mtshamaxitulu ni te ni yingisela holobye loko a vulavula ni tiveka ka xiyimo xa ku va ka matric, ni tiveka ka xiyimo xa ku va ni ri xichudeni ka nkarhi wa sweswi ka university. And I have to say this, none of those people are comforted by your speech. Because this is what you did not talk about. You just went through whatever the department said last time, this is what's happening. But just before you came here, the Western Cape High Court issued an interdict. You remember those irregular contracts you gave to the service providers? They said Izaga must continue. Now, a student sitting somewhere, the University of Limpopo, University of Venda, that has not received an allowance from NSFAS. Can you say that they are being comforted by what you said this afternoon? They are not, because you are focused on what's written in front of you. There's a big case that happened. Maybe Honorable Manamela will come and address it. Because before NSFAS was changed to enrich service providers, NSFAS was working. I'm a product of NSFAS. He was there. He was there. I won't deny that I got NSFAS. But you know what? Comrades came in and now they've taken over everything that's supposed to benefit a poor child of this country. And then you came here, you didn't say anything. We have a crisis in this country of accommodation in higher education. Actually, now you have landlords that are benefiting with the collusion of NSFAS. NSFAS has actually driven up the cost of accommodation for students. But you came here, you said nothing. Think about the child, since January, has got no place to stay. That child was listening to you. Her parents, her single mother was listening to you. Can you say that no? With the 13 minutes that I got, that child that does not have a bed to sleep on, you have addressed the plight of that child. Because I want you, maybe Honorable Manamela, in the 30 seconds that's left, we need to look at the issue of student accommodation. There comes a point where we cannot sit back and say the market forces on their own must determine the price. I was a student, I'm still a student. And I have cousins that are struggling. I'm here, I'm telling you, he knows it. Because it's not new to the department. It's not new to the department. And I'm saying the issue of student accommodation, it's a crisis. Let's attend to it. You can see them. You can see.
Honorable. I invite the honorable member from Bosa. Honorable member from Bosa. Honorable member from ATM. Honorable member from ATM. I invite the Honorable Sapo. Honorable Sapo is her maiden speech. May honorable members be kind to her.
Honorable Chairperson, the African National Congress has witnessed the power of democracy following the 2024 national elections. As the leader of society and the embodiment of democracy, we are committed to work tirelessly to ensure that our people, particularly in the higher education and training, are satisfied at all levels.
Order, honorable members.
The Honorable President.
Honorable member, may you take your seat, honorable member.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I wish to call an order. It is the Honorable Sapo's maiden speech, and we know out of respect for the Honorable member that we will respect her and allow her to continue to deliver that maiden speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you, honorable member. Honorable members, may I just caution you on conversing and drowning the speaker. You are allowed to heckle, you are allowed to speak, but do it in a manner that allows the speaker on the podium to be heard. Honorable member, okay, continue.
The Honorable President has characterized the first 30 years of our democracy as a tintswalo, which represents a generation that has grown up in a society completely different from that of predecessors. She grew up in a society governed by the Constitution, rooted in equality, the rule of law, and the affirmation of the inherent dignity of every citizen. It is our goal as government to uphold these values and create opportunities for the Nzwalo generation to contribute to the economy after obtaining their qualification. We are fully committed to support the expansion of access to post-school education and training opportunities over the medium term. To accomplish this, we will focus on the development and implementation of 3 comprehensive policies. These policies are designed to prioritize key strategic outcomes, ensuring that our efforts are directed towards impactful and meaningful goals. Additionally, we aim to create and execute 102 strategic or annual performance plans, which will serve as a detailed roadmap for our initiatives. Furthermore, we will establish 2 frameworks to provide a solid foundation of our strategies. And we will implement this program as we will implement 3 programs assessing such policies. Finally, we will establish 3 systems specifically tailored for the TVET colleges with an aim of enhancing the overall educational experiences, not so-called unrealistic progressive interventions. The department is dedicated to enhance the success and efficiency of students in the TVET colleges. During the 6th administration, progress has been made in reducing the certification backlog. It is very imperative that the South African Qualification Authority provide assistance to the department in assuring the comprehensive maintenance of all matters related to the National Qualification Framework. Over the medium-term expenditure framework, the authority aims to prioritize the streamlining and automation of its processes for improved efficiency. This involves fortifying its IT infrastructure to enable automation for verification on the National Records Database for foreign qualifications. And additionally, it will actively promote the National Qualifications Framework by providing clarity on its purpose and advantages to its stakeholders. The process of connecting employment and workplace opportunities for our TVET program is usually not difficult, as the most of qualification offered in development skills are relevant to securing employment. However, we are of the view that some programs need to be reviewed in order to align them with government priorities. The community education and training colleges have been making progress to better meet the needs of the sector. While there's still room for improvement, it is important to appreciate the department's commendable efforts to expand variety of programs offered in CETs. These programs have demonstrated notable accessibility, drawing in a large number of young people who are enrolled in these institutions. Moving forward, it is important for the department to prioritize the introduction of skills program geared towards addressing the triple challenges that are confronting communities, especially young people. By doing so, we can ensure that our local economy take a meaningful contribution to inclusive economic growth. The African National Congress is prioritizing the issue of gender-based violence in institutions of higher learning. We're calling for the department to intensify its effort to combat gender-based violence in all institutions of higher learning. The life of our students matters, and their safety should take priority. We are here, we are going to support the department. We will continue to provide support. The ANC, Honorable Chair, does support the budget. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I now invite the Deputy Minister, Minister Manamela.
Thank you. Thank you, House Chairperson, Minister, Deputy Minister, House Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, and honorable members. Good afternoon, and allow me to take this privilege to join both Minister and Deputy Minister in presenting the budget vote for the Department of Higher Education and Training for the 2024-2025 financial year. I want to start by
agreeing with the honorable member from the Patriotic Alliance on her insistence that our country has privileged university education. And our seventh administration is committed to transforming technical and vocational education and training and better align this sector with the demands of our ever-evolving industry landscape. We stand at the crossroads of rapid technological advancement and an ever-evolving job market. The importance of TVET education must be emphasized. TVET institutions are not just places of learning, they are the bedrock upon which we build a skilled, adaptable, and resilient workforce. They play a crucial role in bridging the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical skills, ensuring that our graduates are not only well-versed in their chosen fields, but are also prepared to meet the demands of the industry from day one. Over the last 5 years, we have focused on enhancing the currency of TVET college programs and qualifications through subject content reviews, curriculum content updates, particularly where technologies constitute area of learning, as well as through the induction of new programs that responds to emerging skills needs in the labor market. The introduction of robotics curriculum is a case in point and will continue to be rolled out in the coming years. Going forward, emphasis will continue to be on strengthening digital skills, both of lecturers and students in the TVET college. The establishment of entrepreneurship hubs and fourth industrial revolution centers in colleges over the recent years has been achieved through constructive public, private, and NGO partnerships, and as their intention to scale up graduate uptake, participation in the digital economy, and thereby help mitigate the growing NEET core, or young people who are not in employment or education and training core in the country. These efforts will continue into the ensuing years. In terms of the programs and qualifications mix, the shift to occupational qualifications in TVET colleges has begun and will gain traction in the coming years. The centers of specialization at public TVET colleges have increased from 26 in 2019 to 53 in 2024, meaning that more and more students have got access to better facilities and infrastructure and even better simulated environment so that they are ready to join in the workplace. And this includes a variety or a suite of programs that young people, that students get to participate in. And to be specific, we have invested 238 million to upgrade infrastructure in all of these centers. And the number of trade centers, trade test centers at TVET colleges have also increased to 35 trade centers as opposed to one about 10 or 15 years ago, which was Indlela. These trade centers will support the commitments that the minister made earlier on in her speech around increasing the number of artisans from pushing that number to 26,000 and ultimately to 30,000 by 2030. We've invested 2.5 billion in infrastructure development to deal with some of the issues and challenges that some of the honorable members has raised. 2.5 billion capital investment mentioned, which is additional funding totaling 400 million, has been prioritized through TVET capital infrastructure and efficiency grants. And therefore, our focus has to be to make TVET colleges the institutions of choice for all young people who pass their grade 10, 11, or 12, and even for workers who are working and who want to improve their knowledge and understanding of specific skills, and also for young people who are unemployed. And therefore, we, this budget take into consideration some of the immediate proposals that the honorable members have made and some of the long-term proposals that we may have to attend to. And I think it gives us great pleasure to hear that many of the political parties that have spoken here will support the budget. But we also want to note some of the conditions that have been set by some of the other political parties as conditions for their support for the budget. Honorable MP Msezane of the MK party raised a whole range of issues which constitute conditions within which the MK party will support this budget. And some of those include clarifications on the Imbali Center in KZN. And I think the honorable member, together with all the other members of the portfolio committee, should take a pleasure to visit the center. And I think to get to see what is happening there, because I think to be critical of that center without knowing deeply as to what is it that is happening and what is it that we want to achieve. It's information that's available to the public. And so would the studies around why there is a campus in Giyani and a campus in Ulundi, that information is publicly available. You don't have to dig deep for you to get that information. And we hope that upon receiving that information, you will, of course, support this budget. And similarly, some of the points which we agree with from the leader of the president, I think, of the EFF Student Command, member of parliament, we agree with some of the proposals that you've made. But we think that we need to clarify one important issue. Why do we provide fee-free higher education? We provide fee-free higher education because there's a section of students in our society who cannot afford. And so we need to make that intervention. We need to ensure as the state that we support those students. Some of those completely, will not be able to in any way afford to pay the tuition fee asked for by our universities and our TVET colleges. In TVET colleges, for instance, more than 90% of students who go in those institutions are funded through the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. The numbers have dramatically increased in most of the universities since 2018. And by the way, this was not an individual's decision, honorable member from MK Party. This was a decision of a government that was led by the ANC in 2018 to provide fee-free higher education. Okay? And so we're providing this as an intervention. Now, we understood at the time that it will not make sense to pay for people who can afford to pay for their own tuition. Why should we do that? And that's why we determined a threshold. Now, if we want to argue that households which can afford the tuition based on the means test that we've established should also be paid for by the state, we ourselves are arguing for the perpetuation of the inequalities in our country, standing on a podium, rightly or wrongly, of justifying that this struggle is for the working class and the poor. It will not in any way help to contribute to deal with inequality if we keep on putting money in people's pocket who already can afford to pay this tuition. There are parents in this country whose kids go to schools, pay 200,000, 250,000, 4 or 5 times more than they would pay for a university education. And yet we want to stand here and argue that those parents
Honorable
should be
Deputy
exempted
Minister,
from paying for
unfortunately, your
free
time has
education.
expired.
Let's not perpetuate inequality. Thank you very much, House Chairperson.
Order, honorable members. I invite the honorable member from Al Jama. I invite the honorable member from NCC. I invite the honorable member from PAC. I invite the honorable member from UAT. I invite the honorable Masego. Honorable members, this is the maiden speech of Honorable Masego, and as our convention in the House, we accord her the necessary kindness.
Thank you very much, House Chair. Greetings to Minister, Deputy Ministers, the Portfolio Chair, Honorable members. House Chairperson and honorable members, today we stand at a crucial juncture in the journey of our nation's education system. The annual performance plan and the budget have highlighted several pressing issues that we must confront with determination, unity, and innovative solutions. These challenges are not just numbers on pages. They represent the hopes, the dreams, and future of our students, our communities, and our country. House Chairperson, we have seen remarkable increase in student enrollments over the past few years. In 2015, National Student Financial Aid Scheme funded almost 415,000 students. In 2023, that number soared to 764,421. This growth reflects the department's commitment to making education accessible to all. However, it also raises critical questions about sustainability and funding. How can we continue to support this growth amidst economic challenges and rising costs? The proposed budget over the medium-term expenditure framework must reflect not only the increase in student numbers, but also the reality of tuition fees, accommodation, and food costs. The department must explore every avenue for funding and support to ensure that no student is left behind due to financial constraints. The DEA's alternative funding model will inject additional resources into the system and also allow more potential students to benefit by including the missing middle in financing solutions. House Chair, adequate infrastructure and accommodation are vital for providing a conducive learning environment, and that is the reality. Yet, we face a decrease in the infrastructure budget. This is unacceptable, Minister. We must ensure that our students have access to safe and adequate accommodation. Rural universities in particular have faced severe challenges with water and energy, leading to some campuses shutting down. We cannot allow this to continue, as we saw in Northwest that they had to close doors for about 3 weeks because there was no water. The capital outlays for alternative energy solution and boreholes must be supported by infrastructure grants. Adequate budget in the MTEP should be allocated to address these critical needs. Gender-based violence is a scourge in our society. It affects our students, our staff, and our communities. The department has a moral and ethical obligation to address this crisis head-on. Substantial resources must be allocated to support universities in their efforts to combat gender-based violence. Collaborative efforts driven by the department must ensure that a unified, effective response to this pandemic to create safe campuses where every student can thrive without fear. House Chair, the annual performance plan sets ambitious post-school education and training targets, but setting targets is just not enough. We must ensure that students are work-ready when they graduate. This requires a comprehensive approach that includes practical training, internships, and partnerships with the private sectors. Robust plans must be developed and implemented to ensure students are equipped with the skills and knowledge they need to succeed in the workplace. In conclusion, House Chair, the challenges we face are significant, but so too is our resolve. We must work together, government, parliament, universities, the private sector, and the community to ensure that our education system not only survives, but thrives. We need the whole of society approach to deal with this. Let us commit to making the necessary investments and taking bold actions to support our students and secure the future of our nation. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I invite the Honorable Hassan, and this is her maiden speech.
Honorable Chair, before we begin, we must take a solemn moment to acknowledge and honor Ms. Dorcas Didi Lechanyane, a vibrant 32-year-old woman who was horrifically murdered allegedly by her partner a few days ago. Didi was an acclaimed scientist and was one of the most recently named the Mail and Guardian's top 200 young leaders. Her work was focused on traditional medicine and breaking the stigmas from a scientific perspective. Chair, I call on us to have a moment of silence to honor her death. House Chair, this is a societal issue that we cannot ignore. The crisis of GBVF must be addressed as a matter of urgency. We must stop the war on women's bodies. Didi was a graduate of the University of Johannesburg, one of the very same institutions that will be affected by today's passing of the budget. And we must always be reminded of the context in which we debate these budgets. It is not only, Madam Chair, about the rands and cents, but the people and the lives that are behind it, and the potential that we can harvest for the future of our country. The PSET sector has the power to link the disenfranchised in this country, our youth in particular, to knowledge, the economy, opportunities, and ultimately craft a different fate, one that is different to what is facing them now. Higher education can be the missing piece of the puzzle, the fulcrum to turn that conundrum of cyclical unemployment and systematic poverty and inequality on its head. And as the ANC, we remain committed to achieving a higher education sector that is responsive to the needs of young South Africans who are committed to pursuing their goals and dreams. From the University of Venda to the University of Cape Town, the ANC-led government has expanded access and committed to prioritizing the success of all individuals, including those with disabilities in the PSET sector. This commitment is crucial when evaluating the progress already made and the work that lies ahead. The budget before us must and will work to produce the best possible results. For the current financial year, Madam Chair, the department was allocated 137.5 billion, with healthy growth projections already in play. This financial year alone, we had an increase of 6.9 billion, in fact, and the official budget is actually projected to increase over the next 2 financial years to 142.6 billion and 150.2 billion, showing the commitment of an ANC-led government to the higher education system. The ANC-led government is putting money into programs that will fundamentally drive the success of this sector. And many honourable members today have asked us, well, where's the money going? What impact is there going to be in society?
Honourable Hassan, kindly take your seat. There is a member.
Thank you,
Honourable
House Chair.
member.
Thank you, House Chair. I just want to ask House Chair.
Honourable member, kindly indicate on which rule are you rising on?
Chair, I want to ask if the speaker is willing to take a question.
Thank you, honourable member. Honourable Hassan, are you prepared to take a question?
No, thanks. I think if everyone listens, they'll get the answer.
The member is not willing to take a question. Kindly close your mic.
Thank you very much. There are many honourable members here who have tried to paint a picture of a higher education system that is in failure. And that is frankly untrue. And we are going to paint a different narrative, and one that shows you that there is success, not just in the higher education sector, but in the government as a whole. The budget for the national skills development, many honourable members spoke to that today. We have, and I want you to listen, it's important. We funded over 19,000 learners, 15,000 bursary students for qualifications in occupations of high demand. We have facilitated the acquisition of skills of over 3,450 participants through constituency-based skills development. We have funded and trained programs of over 187,000 learners from rural areas and funded workplace experience for over 2,300 learners. These are real young people who have benefited from an ANC-led government, from a budget that was passed in this very house by honourable members who took seriously the issues of young people. The fund also supported priority projects such as infrastructure development at TVET and community colleges, which we know is in dire need of those sorts of developments and upgrades. We have also focused on research and innovation to improve the PSET system. And very importantly, Minister and Deputy Ministers, we pledge to support you in the Skills Development Act that we are soon to support. And we will, as a portfolio committee, put in the relevant needs and the relevant work to place it. Madam Chair, on the matter of NSFAS, and I'm very glad it's come up. NSFAS was passed by this very same ANC-led government as a response to the lack of accessibility of higher education. In the same way that students had to go to the streets during Fees Must Fall, again, the ANC-led government responded and increased the NSFAS allocation. There is, in fact, even now, Madam Chair, over 46.9 billion rand that has been allocated to NSFAS.
Honorable Hassan, may you kindly take your seat?
Chair, I'm rising to ask the speaker if she's willing to take a question because she just mentioned the issue of the chair.
Honorable member.
2015.
Honorable member, honorable member, you are not going to abuse this platform and just press and speak. You have raised your point and wanted to ask a question. The member said she's not willing to take a question.
A pseudo president, yes.
Honorable member. Honorable Hassan, may you continue?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. There's been a planned increase of the
Honorable-
MTF period.
Honorable members. Order.
Can my time be paused?
Honorable members.
We want to know what was she
Honorable
fighting for in
members.
2015. Did we actually receive the Fees Must Fall?
Honorable Hassan, sit down. Honorable Shikwambane. Honorable Shikwambane, I am warning you currently, you are not going to stand up and raise spurious point of orders that you are not recognized by the chair. Take this as your first warning. Honorable member, you may continue.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Effectively, the budget cuts that we're looking at NSFAS do not actually affect the bursary scheme. They're on the operational budget. We as an ANC-led government would never jeopardize the futures of young people. In fact, the goal and objective is for our government to create stability within NSFAS by appointing a board and by empowering the administrator. And minister, deputy ministers, we too commit to supporting that process. And we have no doubt that the same honorable members who have a lot to say will be in every single portfolio committee meeting, every single oversight, and they too will ensure the success of NSFAS going forward. Madam Speaker, very importantly, we have a role to play, all of us in this particular room, as I've mentioned. We must push NSFAS to standardize accommodation and food allowances for both university and TVET students alike. Gone are the days where TVET students are treated as the stepchild of higher education. Honorable Chair, the DA spoke to their funding model. And let's be honest, it's a funding model that's going to exclude the masses of our people, particularly the poor and the working class. Their aim is to prioritize those from a privileged background. And let's be very open and clear, it will be crippling loans that you will spend the better part of your adult life trying to pay off. In fact, on program 2, which Honorable DeVaal spoke to on planning, policy and strategy, we are putting 8.8 billion rand over the MTF period to deal with exactly that supportive infrastructure. Honorable member from the EFF, we appreciate your enthusiasm, we really do, in coming to the House, listing all of those issues. And I think it's quite easy to come to this platform and to present a shopping list when you don't have to actually be the ones to implement it. But we look forward to finding out ways with you how we're going to go and do it. Honorable Hajat, we thank you for being honest about being a Tinswalo in this country. We thank you for putting forward that there are success stories in this country of that very same higher education system that is being attacked. Even Honorable Ghana is a Tinswalo of this particular system. And unlike the likes of others, we are in fact beneficiaries of the
Honorable Chair.
aspects that we are attacking.
Honorable Chair.
We don't have
Honorable Chair.
in terms of diversity of cultures.
Honorable Hassan.
Honorable Chair.
Honorable Hassan, kindly sit down.
Point of order, Chair.
Honorable member.
What?
Order, honorable members. Honorable members, order. Honorable
sir.
members, order.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable member, you do not just press the mic and start speaking. You must raise your hand and be recognized.
Yep.
Upon being recognized, you then indicate your name and then you are allowed to speak.
Okay. Chairperson, thank you very much for allowing me to speak. I think one of the advantages of
Honorable
talking
member,
for the
you are
first time.
Honorable Mbata.
Honorable Chair.
indicate that you are Honorable Mbata and then indicate the rule that you are standing on.
It's a point of order, Chair.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the benefit of allowing the speaker to speak for the first time and then allow all the gratitude does not carry ukdelela. She
Honorable
must be
member, that is
respectful of members.
that is a point.
She must be
Thank- Honorable Mbata, that is not a point of order. Kindly close your mic. Honorable Hassan, you may continue.
Thanks very much, Madam Chair. Not to worry, we will continue to fight for students and for young people despite being heckled and despite being pushed off. Honorable Botchov, you spoke about diversity of all cultures in higher education, and we agree with you. But we hope that you're not defending white racists urinating on the laptops of Black students in Stellenbosch and calling that defending culture. Because the very same higher education system will be used to transform South African society, not only in terms of education, but as society as a whole. MKP, I'm happy to see you here. Unfortunately, you're not the only former student leader sitting in this room. Many of us cut our teeth in the political movements of SASCO, of the PYA, of the ANC Youth League. And don't worry, we too will learn the ropes with you. Madam Speaker,
honorable
we
members.
have a vision for higher education.
Order.
We have
Honorable
a
Hassan.
vision that every single young person in this country, regardless of the money in their bank account and regardless of the opportunities they were born with, will have a chance to study, to learn, to be skilled, led by an ANC-led government of this higher education system. And we will continue to fight for that. We will rally behind this particularly important cause. We as the ANC stand in full support of this particular budget, and we will continue to advocate for funding every single rand and cents that is increased so that we can ensure that young people in this country have a better life. Together, we will work to build a brighter future for young people in this country. Minister and Deputy Ministers, we look forward to working with you over the next 5 years. And not to worry, honorable members, we'll meet you in the streets.
Thank you, honorable members. Thank you, honorable members. Order.
The president of the student command is on.
Order, honorable members. Order, honorable members. May we be orderly and conform to the decorum of the House. I now invite the Minister to reply on the debate.
Thank you so much, House Chairperson. Firstly, I think, Chair, I need to clarify one issue that has been raised by Honorable Gama. Fortunately or unfortunately, some of us here in the House, we are daughters and granddaughters of peasants. We are the beneficiaries of NSFAS. So you cannot just come here and grandstand as if you are the only beneficiary here. We are one of them. With regards to the issue that was raised regarding the court order, the order is effective pending the decision of the
Honorable
tribunal.
Minister, may you kindly take your seat. Honorable member, on what point are you rising on?
No, Chairperson, it might not actually exist.
Honorable member, kindly indicate you are honorable, your name, and then indicate the point of order that you are rising on the rule.
No, I think it's just, oh, okay, no, it's on. It's on.
Continue, honorable member. You are recognized. Sit down, Minister.
Okay. Is the chairperson willing to take the advice?
Honorable member, that is not a point of order. Minister, you may continue.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point.
Thank you so much, House Chairperson. With regards to the court order, the order is effective pending a decision by the tribunal constituted in terms of the SIU. And as we stand, we are committed to implement the report by Vermans. There are no changes. However, the NSFAS is going to appeal the decisions. So there is no confusion. We did not say we're changing or we're not going to implement the recommendations by the investigation team, which was done by Vermans' report. So in terms of capacity building, trying to then close the gaps as far as some of the constraints that our students face during registration period, NSFAS has actually arranged agents that will be available in various institutions of higher learning to attend to their queries. We are also trying by all means to work with the National Treasury to reduce negative impacts of the budget cuts as one of the issues that the honorable members raised in this debate. As far as student accommodation is concerned, there is a multi-stakeholder task team that has been established as well to also look at that issue in trying to respond to it. We welcome the recommendations or interventions raised by an honorable member from the EFF in trying to address the situation or the challenges that we are facing with regards to NSFAS. We understand, all of us, that there are inefficiencies on the system which results in delays in terms of responding to some of the appeals that we receive from time to time. When the administrator joined the department, we were sitting at 88,000 of appeals that were not attended. As to date, we have 27,000 appeals that we are about to finalize, and we're hoping that by the end of July 2024, we'll be done with them. We also want to thank all the members who supported this budget vote debate. Even those who
Honourable
did not
Minister,
support,
your
we
time has
then
expired.
welcome their constructive criticism. Looking forward to work with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, honourable members. Order, honourable members. Members are reminded that there are 3 debates that are scheduled for 16:15. The Trade and Industry and Competition budget vote will take place here in Good Hope Chamber. The tourism budget vote will take place in committee room M46. The cooperative governance and traditional affairs budget vote will take place in room S12A. That concludes the debate and the business for this mini plenary session. The mini plenary will now rise.
Point of advice.